Welcome to Enjoy Fort Wayne. This episode is brought to you by the YLNI Farmers Market and highlights the 350 vendors that make up the #1 market in the state of Indiana.
Mary Brames, and I own Eliza B's Bakery.
Eliza B's Bakery. So first question right off the bat is, when I first met you, I thought your name was
Eliza. Everybody does.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
So let's get into that story. That's the very first thing, right? Elephant in the room.
Yep.
We have to I'm just curious, what's the story there?
So basically, my name is Mary Elizabeth. So
Okay.
It's a play off my middle name. Most of my life I've gone by Mary Beth, Mary B, things like that. And we thought that sounded kind of country. I know we're in the Midwest and in Fort Wayne, but that's a little too country. So we decided on doing Eliza.
Okay.
And then did Eliza B kind of with it. And my dad and I came up with that. So
And just kind of like, hey, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Like, let's try it. And now you don't even think about it.
No, everyone says Eliza, and I just turn and I'm like, what? Yeah, me?
Yeah. Now, are you from Fort Wayne originally?
I am not. I am actually from Ohio.
Okay.
So I grew up in Lima. I was born in Lima.
Yeah.
And then Columbus Grove area, Fort Jennings, Reimer.
Okay.
I grew up on a farm out there. And then I moved back here with my dad when he was going through a divorce and everything. My grandmother lived here, and he grew up here. So, and then I met my husband here. So, and I've been here ever since.
So, what year did you start in Fort Wayne, basically?
I'm trying to think here. So, we met in 2010, David? Yeah. So, I'm thinking I came back in 2008.
Okay.
Is when I moved
It's
here.
been quite a while.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm basically a Hoosier now. So.
Yeah. Oh, you're even like claiming it and everything.
I
You're
guess.
okay?
Yeah.
I don't all the way claim it, and I'm from California, and sometimes I claim it and sometimes I don't, but I get it. And I've been here even longer than that. So, But okay, so when you moved, did you think kind of like, well, I want to have my own shop and sell stuff, and like from the get-go?
So since I was a kid, basically. So my dad is a retired chef. So
okay.
he actually was the first graduating class for the culinary school here in town.
Really?
So he was in that. My whole life I've been around food, running around in the back of Italian restaurants or different things. So, but I've always enjoyed it. I grew up watching Ace of Cakes and different things and Duff, and I loved baking because that's the one thing he wasn't the best at, and I could beat him.
So I've been told, I've only seen it a few times, but I've been told that I look like Duff.
You kind of do, yeah.
I've been told that from strangers, like more than once.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about it for a good few years, and then because when someone said that, I had never seen it, and then it was like on A&E or one of those channels, or like
Food Network, and then yeah.
So then I happened to catch it, and I was like, okay, I see where they're coming from. Like, I kind of see that a little bit, but it's just kind of funny. I haven't thought about that for a while. So if you are watching on YouTube, you can pause it and Google a picture of Duff, and then
And you kind of do.
in the comments you can say whether I look like Duff or not. But okay, so are you saying even from back in the day when you were little that you did want to do this like for yourself, like as an entrepreneur?
So I grew up in small businesses. So over in Ohio, we had our own farm, and I had my own division of it, which I did baking, and we used to sell at a farmer's market in Lima, which the Lima's farmer's market is
Probably
still
small.
around, but
it's
right? Pretty dead now.
Sure.
They have it during the week in the evening, and
Okay.
it used to be a Saturday morning one, and we used to sell there every time.
Oh, sure.
My stepbrothers, and me, and my dad, and my stepmom, we sold a bunch of different stuff. So, So I've always kind of had that. We owned a photography business when I was a kid. Like, I've been around small businesses most of my life.
So you are kind of used to it. It wasn't that far-fetched for you to be able to do it, right?
No, not really.
Okay.
But I never thought I would change careers into that. So,
Why is that?
well, so I have a long history of different things. So when we moved here, basically I started living my adult life and I got a real job because I was homeschooled. So while I was homeschooled, we worked on the farm and different things.
Sure.
I never lived outside of doing much more than that.
Yeah.
Met my husband, got a job in finance, worked in a few different things, been manager for years doing that. And then one day I looked at my dad and, he worked in restaurants most of his life. I said, I think I want to quit my job and get a job as a part-time bread baker.
Wow.
So.
What did he say?
He said, are you fucking crazy? And I'm like, maybe.
Because you were doing pretty well. I mean.
Well, David and I, we don't have any kids. And we got married young and we both had good career jobs. And we got ourselves kind of out of debt, and we were trying to build a life together. And I was doing good. Why would you want to
go and do a thing like that then? Right? Is like.
Yeah. Leaving, a job where I had 2 or 3 weeks of vacation a week and a year and just health benefits to go work in the kitchen. So,
wow.
But I enjoyed it and I wanted to learn. So actually the first person that hired me with no experience other than working for myself and my dad was Brian, the owner of Ted's. So I worked at Ted's Beer Hall. I started as a part-time bread baker there.
Okay.
And pastry chef, and then worked up to the bakery manager and then being the kitchen manager.
Okay.
So, and I worked for him for a few years and then left and moved to a few different places, and then COVID hit and then I started working for myself.
So let's go through that story. How did that, it doesn't just happen overnight where one day you don't have Eliza B's bakery and then one day you do. Right?
Yeah. So, I was kind of doing it when I was at Ted's as well. I was going to the Southside Farmers Market and I was trying to find my niche, because I'm one of those people, I want to try a little bit of everything. So,
sure.
I was trying to sell pound cakes originally. That's how I started.
Okay.
Was just selling pound cakes and scones, and it was okay. And then I was working Ted's, when you're full-time in management in a restaurant, you don't have much of a life.
Yeah.
So I gave that up pretty quick. And then when I left Ted's and ended up leaving the other job I left Ted's for after a while, I was working part-time, and then COVID happened, and then basically my husband works for the post office, so he could kind of support us. So I started baking bread for family because people couldn't find things. And then I started thinking, I can make money doing this. So, and I ended up actually starting at the Fort Wayne Farmers Market.
Okay.
And I was there for 3 years. 3.5 years.
And when was this?
The summer session for them when they went out around the Ball Diamond in 2020.
Okay.
And I was with them until last year when I moved to YLNI. And I moved indoors with you guys in the winter of, I think, mid-January last year.
Okay, I guess I thought it was longer.
It's because I was at the other one, I think. So we were around for a while.
Sure.
Like, this is our 4th, going on our 5th year.
Right. What can you say about Ashley and the YLNI Farmers Market?
So you guys do a lot. Like, you do so much for us as a community and as a market. Like, I've had a hand in having to organize a market myself personally. And you guys are a great community. Like, I feel like, here's an instance. Last year, February, we started in January. And by February, I had a car go through my garage. And that was a whole bunch last year of our life. And she was willing to work with me and understand and not hold me to certain standards that I
sure.
needed to be to.
Because life happened.
Yeah. Like, you guys actually are a great community for us as small businesses. You understand, even yourself, you're giving us the opportunity to come on here and show what our business is and to talk about it and to learn. These are things that I haven't had this opportunity up to this point. So, and it helps, especially even if you're someone so small and you're struggling, and if you're not many people have the opportunity like I do where I can be doing this full time, and you're working part time and trying to run a business full time. You need that.
Yeah, no, that is awesome to hear. We hear those stories a lot, and every time it's like hearing it for the first time. It's awesome to have that impact, and we're glad that you feel that way. And I was just curious, on that. And again, I feel like from the summer, I mean, I know we're in the winter right now, but I know where your booth is a lot of the times behind the food trucks. On, is that Bar?
Yeah, we're on Bar there.
On Bar. And I don't know why I feel like I've seen you multiple summers over there, but I guess technically it really hasn't.
No, we change a lot sometimes, so it feels that way. Like, we'll go through phases of the booth, and all of our regulars know this by now. Like, right now, we're in the middle of changing the booth inside as well again. My dad was painting a case this weekend, so we're trying to roll out our ancient grains, but we have this tendency where we will phase things and change with the flow of the customers in the market.
Oh, of course.
But
so speaking of that, I'm curious then, walk us through some of the items that you make and that you sell, and what are some of your best sellers? What are some of your favorites? Do you have any stories of like what is bombed that you thought would be amazing, you were excited for it, and you're like, well, I got to eat 87 of these now?
Yeah. Or
like, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we have quite a few that are popular. Now, they're popular, and do we like them being popular? No, sometimes.
Because being difficult to make?
Oh, yes.
Like, okay, now I got to know.
Apple dumpling season is hell.
They're really difficult to deal with and make,
it's a lot of pie dough. Like, this year I had...
so like October, you sell a lot?
Oh, no, we normally start like September, sometimes into August, and we run them all the way. This year I think I ran them all the way till like the end of October, mid-November, and then we stopped. But it's making the pie dough. Like, I had my goddaughter's mother come over and help, our best friend.
Mm-hmm.
David, my mom, Dad.
All hands on deck.
My baker, like my little KitchenAid. We have the peeler for it. So, old school, like the crank peelers, but the KitchenAid does it. Oh, yeah. And it's a process. And everyone loves them. But the thing is, it's like, oh my Lord. And then that one is really popular. So seasonal. Bread-wise, probably right now, the ancient grain spelt is one of the most popular ones.
Okay.
People really like that one. That one doesn't bother me too much to make.
Yeah.
It's getting closer to the bread that we're trying to bring to the public and getting people healthier. So, bombed. I gotta think here. We've had a few. Like, we try different flavors occasionally. Like, I like trying to be pushing the envelope. Yeah. And Dad does too.
You want to see what,
Yeah, and we've done a few flavors where we're like, oh, it's going to sell. We did a, screwball whiskey.
Yeah, peanut butter.
Yeah.
Peanut butter.
We did a scone because we did our alcohol kind of based scones last spring when we were at the market. I had a screwball flavored scone where I did a dark chocolate scone with like chocolate chunks in it. And
that sounds...
I know. And peanut butter glaze with
people
screwball
tried it and
infused.
they're just like, eh? Or, I mean...
It just didn't sell. And I tried to make it more visually appealing to people, but it's dark and it's chocolate, But it just didn't sell. And I'm like, come on, guys. It's peanut butter and chocolate. Let's make it work.
Well, come on.
But, yeah, there's little things like that happen occasionally. Unlike then the mojito scone, that I couldn't keep enough of them.
Really?
Yeah. So when we were doing the mojito scones...
I would choose the screwball over the mojito, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. But everyone liked the mojito, and they liked the fuzzy navel too. So,
now, what is your favorite, like, based on the idea of knowing that you have something that will probably sell pretty well because it's been an item that's done well, what is something that is your favorite thing to make based on, because it's super easy and you know what, boom, I know this will sell and it's super simple. I want to make 100 of these.
Okay, so I know what's the easiest. Now, it's not my favorite to eat personally. It's the Italian bread. And and it sells. And I think it's that huge miscommunication of what Italian is, because when you go to the grocery store, you get an Italian loaf. They think that it's basically like a French loaf. A French loaf is an Italian loaf,
okay.
But ours is more like a structured, real Italian loaf, what it's supposed to be.
Oh.
And our French is a country French. So a lot of people will turn around and not buy that. So, but that's what I made for Loaves of Love, was our Italian loaf. I can mass produce that bam, bam, bam after this. So it's the easiest for me to do.
Okay. So, yeah, that's good.
And it always sells. So, and everyone, it's an easy loaf. If you don't know what kind of bread you want, you can eat an Italian loaf and be happy.
Nice. Okay.
So.
That's good to know. So tell us then real quick too, the spots that we can find you on. Can you do special orders?
Yes.
Of if they know they want to see you, obviously they know they can see you at the market. Obviously you're on this podcast, but for special orders and things like that, what would you have someone do?
So basically for special orders, they can DM us through Facebook or Instagram as well.
Okay.
We also have a website, which is elizabsbakery.com.
Okay, awesome.
You can go there. A lot of times I try to keep the inventory up to stock, but sometimes it goes sold out.
The special events and stuff, if they need hey, I need 15 of these.
There's a contact part on the page, so you can just contact me, and that sends me an email, and I'll get a hold of you on that. We also have our phone number. You can Google us. You can personally call me. I always pick up the phone, even if I don't want to sometimes, but I still do. But, those are the easiest ways to get a hold of me. You can find us at the market on Saturdays, 9 to 1. We also have a storefront that we opened up after the accident happened. We converted our garage into a storefront where people can come in. I moved my kitchen upstairs because my dad built me a kitchen in the basement of the house originally.
Wow.
And then we moved it up, and so they can come in, and we have a pastry case there just like we do at the markets. They can come in and get stuff.
Wow.
So those hours are kind of fluctuating because of holidays and now winter, because we live out in the country outside of New Haven area.
Okay.
So basically always Google us and check.
Okay. Yeah.
So
that's awesome. That's good to know. So a couple more questions that I want to ask you are more geared towards Fort Wayne. I know you just mentioned you're kind of outside, but basically you're in that area. It's the same.
My husband and I lived in Fort Wayne mainly, so.
Yeah. So you get it. And I want to ask you about what you have seen now that we're in 2024 over the last even, 5, 8, 10 years, the changes in Fort Wayne. What is one that you are kind of excited about, or I think it's really cool that we're doing XYZ? What is something about a change in Fort Wayne that you're happy about?
I love how much we've built downtown. Honestly. When the Riverfront project started and everything, that was always a dream to have a bakery down there. And maybe someday still. And the landing area. My husband and I, we sound like old farts by saying this, but we were out late the other night. We went to Poppy's Pizza.
Yeah.
And we had pizza because I'm I want to go here because my birthday's tomorrow and they were going to be closed. So,
what'd you think?
We loved it. So it was the best pizza we've had in a long time. So
very cool. Yeah.
We were on the landing and it's this is totally different because I remember going to flashbacks and it's not even there. And it's
I know.
What's happened? But it's so much better,
Yeah.
It's great to see that we're moving forward to something. 5, 6 years ago, I went to... No, it's been longer than that now. We've been together... Sorry, I'm trying to do math in my head. That's not always a good thing for me.
Math ain't mathin'.
No, never with me. But it's probably been somewhere between 10 and 5 years. I can't remember. I went to San Francisco with my best friend on a vacation. And I wanted that here. And it feels like we're slowly getting there, you know?
Yeah, no, I get it. I was born about 40 minutes from San Francisco.
Yeah.
And I love visiting, and just the big town feel is what I'm used to. So I love that. I kind of equate it to Chicago. The Landing, to me, is like Chicago. You're like, you're not in the same spot. You're like, what is this? This doesn't feel like Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
In a good way, you know? And so I definitely agree. Very cool. And it's still growing. We're still doing projects downtown and with the different buildings they're doing and all that. So yeah, very cool. Okay, so one of the last questions I ask is, let's pretend that the mayor of Fort Wayne and New Haven, let's say, okay, for your situation, they come to you and say, we are building a sign that is going to go in the sky. The Fred Grody plane or something is going to parade it around, or we're going to put it on the tallest building, display it. It can say anything you want, but you're in charge. You get to say what the sign is going to say for all of the Fort Wayne and New Haven area to see. Okay. You're commissioned to write the sentence, the paragraph, the word, whatever you want.
Well, I'm trained to make money, so basically my mind would instantly go to selling. But also the other part of me goes to people learning how to eat, you know, eat better is one big statement that I would think we need to, you know, like that's the thing. I want people to learn you can have better food. You can come to the farmer's market. You can buy fresh produce that's not got all these chemicals on it. You can buy bread that's made with ancient grains that haven't been killed with chemicals, you know.
Right. And made with love.
Yeah. Well, sometimes. We'll not get too far into that.
Sometimes it's hatred.
Sometimes. When my husband's in there, sometimes it's like, David, get out. So
we need more love.
Yeah. But, you know, it would be eat better.
Eat better. I like that.
So.
Very cool. Well, remember, every Saturday from 9 to 1, you can catch Eliza B at the YLNI Farmers Market. Thank you so much for coming on. We'll see you soon. Thanks. This podcast is brought to you by Coraggio Media. The show is edited by me and sponsored by the YLNI Farmers Market. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram for all the latest updates. We will see you next week, where we will be sure to show you how you can enjoy Fort Wayne.